"You this useless old woman, are you mad?" That's how it started, with Adana's voice slicing the mall air the instant the beggar's fingers brushed her dress. Just a small touch, not even sting. Yet the way she flung her arm, you'd think acid had landed. The sanitizer bottle clicked. Psh, pride sent everywhere, while her girls, Sade and Mimi, giggled behind false lashes, and her tiny dog squirmed as if even animals know when thunder is near. The old woman, wrapper washed pale, scarf knit in the way only women who have buried many disappointments tie it, eyes soft but unafraid, lifted her chin and said, "My daughter, even if he's water." And Adana rolled her eyes with the strength of someone who had practiced disrespect into muscle. "Move, Ja, stop using suffering to disturb clean places." Then, because cruelty loves audience, she snatched the plastic bowl with 2 quick fingers and scattered the coins. They clattered across the marble like small moons rolling away from gravity. People gasped. The receptionist stood, then sat because who wants trouble in a Lagos mall on a Saturday afternoon? The escalator hummed fake innocence, and somewhere a child started crying for reasons he didn't understand yet but would one day call empathy. "Don't touch me," Adana warned, misting sanitizer as he's spraying holy water. "Don't even breathe near me. See your hand, see your life." And the old woman didn't curse, didn't scratch, only said quietly, "Pride makes the neck stiff. Hunger bends it later." Which only poked Adana's temper like a stick teasing a hive. "Are you stupid? You dey threaten me?" she snapped, stepping close enough for her perfume to bully the air. And Sadi clapped once like wicked punctuation. That was when the voice came, not loud, not angry, but heavy with a calm that rearranged everyone's posture. "Young lady," it said, and a man stepped from the shadow beside the phone accessory shop. Simple white kaftan, clean as truth. Sandals that didn't shout but knew leather. Beard carefully kept. Eyes like the part of the lagoon that looks quiet but is deep. "Is there a problem?" he asked, and it didn't sound like a question, it sounded like a mirror. Adana tilted her head, irritation curling her lips. "Uncle, face your front. Are you the manager?" And the man said, "No, I am her son." And the corridor inhaled, as if the building itself drew breaths. Even the security guard, by your professional at pretending blindness, turned. Adana's mouth opened, then closed, because pride hates being surprised, but she kept the performance going. "So, even if she's your mother, should she block people's way? There are rules here, I beg." And the man nodded gently. "There are. Kindness is not against them." Then he did something that cut the room in two. He knelt with the carefulness of someone trained by respect, gathered the coins one by one as if each had a name, poured them back into the bowl and said to his mother, "Mama, let's eat." Then turned to Adana and added softly, "You said rules. The ground has one too. What you sent out returns." And Adana scoffed, tossing braids, "Carry your village proverb away from AC." And he smiled without heat and pressed a small fob into Mama's palm. "Wait by the car," he said, and she obeyed with that dignity that splits a crowd the way a canoe splits water. Adana strutted into a boutique like nothing had happened, turned attendants into track athletes. "Bring size 6 not 8. Are you new? Do quick." Posed before a mirror that had hosted 1,000 different versions of vanity. Brought a dress Lagos did not owe her, and stepped back into a corridor that suddenly felt like someone was writing the story she hadn't read yet. Outside by the curb, the old woman stood beside a black SUV that didn't shout wealth, it murmured it. Paint so deep it swallowed reflections. Logo quiet the way old money is quiet. The boot opened like a mouth about to mention genealogy. Inside, not cash nor gold, but a rolled banner and thick files stamped with government seals, plus a laminated access tag with the man's picture and a name even Adana recognized from newspapers and gala nights. Chief Chikeze Nwanko, Chairman Nwanko Holdings. Her truth performed a small backflip. Security buyer jogged over, hat in hand. "Ogasa, sorry we no see Mama quick." "No need," Chief answered. "Sometimes it's good for everyone to see everyone." And he glanced at Adana with a patience that was not weakness, it was choice. He tapped the edge of the boot like a judge tapping a bench, then closed it gently. "Walk with me." And he said, It wasn't invitation, it was a door. Pride told Adana to keep walking, but curiosity, that sweet traitor, moved her feet. They sat at a shaded bench where the smell of suya bribed the wind and the road recited its noisy psalm. Chief folded his hands the way serious men hold truth. "Who taught you that kindness is weakness?" he asked. Adana tried to reach for the usual answers: boundaries, energy, self-care. But his eyes said don't perform, so she said the only honest thing available: nobody. And he nodded, then unlearn it. Mama added with a smile that could both scold and bless: humility cooks soup faster than anger. Mama, he teased, not everyone understands soup. And then he faced Adana fully. What do you do? Influencer, fashion, online store, sometimes. And who are you when no one is watching? He pressed, and the phones that had recorded her wickedness earlier blinked red dots like judgment stars. Sir, I apologize if Mama felt apology is cloth. Wear it before it tears. And Chief raised a palm, studying Adana the way pilots study sky. You know what I'll do? He said, and Sadie, hovering at a distance like perfume that refuses to go, rolled her eyes. What? Adana managed. I'll give you a job. He smiled like thunder with manners. Entry level at our foundation. You will work with your hands, not just your face. Mama chooses the people we lift, especially those who stumble on purpose. And he wrote a number, tore the card, placed it in Adana's hand as if handing her a seed. Be there by 8. Don't be late. Then he took Mama's hand and led her toward the driver's side. The SUV closed its mouth, whispered its engine into life, and slid away into an afternoon that suddenly had edges. The crowd dissolved into WhatsApp voice notes and shaky captions, and Adana stood at the glass doors where her reflection, still beautiful, suddenly small, asked questions even she feared. By evening, she lay on her bed while generators sang their oily hymn, and her phone did its own chorus, ping ping, the video already flying like stubborn rain, comments sharp as new razors. God forbid, daughter-in-law, wicked rich girl, cancel her. Her thumb hovered over the card number until shame and need pushed each other like siblings in traffic. She dialed, cut, then finally stayed long enough to hear No & Co Foundation, a calm voice say, and she whispered, "This is Adana." Chief said, and the voice answered, "We've been expecting you, 8 a.m, don't be late." Click. She stared at the ceiling and said a prayer that did not know how to rhyme with lifestyle. Dawn came thin and honest. The foundation smelled like lemon and pepper. Real lemon that says someone who respects feet mocked. And the receptionist's smile was professional, not worshipful. The form asked wicked good questions. What failure taught you the most? And she wrote, I insulted a delivery man and lost my stock, and felt something unclench. Other 5 recruits entered with hope, not hunger for clout. A gentle-eyed guy with a scar, an auntie whose backbone had carried families, a graduate still hot with theory, a quiet seamstress with laughter that sounded like bell and rain, a middle-aged man wearing courage like borrowed suit. The trainer arrived and spoke with the kind of mercy that fixes spines. Here, we don't save people, we serve them. Your opinions on how poor people should behave are not tools. Your listening is a tool. If your pride is louder than compassion, resign now and go dance for your ring light. Some laughed, Adana didn't. They sorted food that refused to match Instagram palettes, taught CV writing on hot plastic chairs, visited a clinic where nurses did work of 10 people for salary that insult grammar, and drove to a half-built estate where displaced women learned skills. The air smelled of wet cement and akara. Children ran like bears that don't know fences yet. The program lead, Auntie Peace, handed Adana registers and said, count, care, don't get in the way. I don't sew. I didn't ask you if you sew. And Adana learned that counting is also compassion. She watched a teenage mother coax a thread through a needle like discovering planets. An old widow laughed when her first stitch held, and even women in the next room clapped for a joke they didn't hear. On the 3rd day, Chief walked in without cameras or performance, moved table to table asking questions that made answers breathe. What's hardest now? What will be easier in 6 months? Reached Adana, glanced at her attendance sheet, looked long enough to see. My mother wants to see you. Under a mango tree, Mama was shelling groundnut with a surgeon's focus and a grandmother's ease. Good afternoon, Ma. Sit, Mama replied, measuring her like weather. Do you know why we started this foundation?
not to throw help at people, to carry load with them. The day you scattered my coins, I didn't ask God to punish you. I asked him to rescue you from the voice that says generosity makes you smaller. Now do something for me. See that woman laughing with all her teeth. Ijeoma, tailor before death swallowed her machine. Go and bring it back, not with our money, with your hands. If you can return coins to my bowl, you can return a tool to her life. And that was how Adana found herself the next morning in backstreet money ignores, where machines slept under tarpaulins like elephants dreaming, negotiating with a store owner who wore suspicion like belt and recited late fee scripture like pastor. Charm failed, so she sat, listened, learned, called anti-peace for regulation numbers, chief's accountant for a promissory template, a civil servant for a voucher that legally shaved the debt. God bless anybody who still treats service as a verb. And by evening,
the worst tests don't wear horns. They arrive smiling like opportunity. And this one came on a Tuesday that smelled of rain and generator smoke, when the hub door swung and a man in a tight smile and tighter cologne slid in with two boys whose swagger looked borrowed. "I'm Kelvin," he said, dropping a glossy card like a stone into calm water. "Metromat Galleria PR. Madam Adana, the internet is hot. The mall wants to partner. Live activation, apology tour, big cash. We recreate that little bowl incident. Push, gasp, cry, then redemption arc. You trend back to heaven." And the room went quiet, because money has a way of silencing righteous air. Even Ijioma's chalk paused in mid-scratch. But Adana's new backbone, still young but already learning to stand, refused to bend. "We don't monetize humiliation," she said, steady like door frame. "The only bowl we put on camera here is the one we use to serve." And Kelvin's smile twitched. "Think well, pretty. If you don't play, that old video will play you," he hissed. When at the doorway, Mama appeared as if the walls themselves invited her, wrapper knit, eyes carrying weather. "My son," she said gently, "your cologne is too loud for lies that small. Carry your paper and go." He laughed brittle and left pride footprints behind. Evening brought thunder and another ghost, Shadi, sunglasses indoors, voice glazed with sugar and blade. "Ada, forget these charity people. Do one skit with Kelvin, fake tears, sign to NDAs, Dubai content, go wash your name. Needle, no be crown." And Adana smiled the soft smile of someone who has met herself. "I used to want tables that wobble under cocktails. Now I want tables that carry people." And Shadi snorted. This humility no dey pay rent, slammed the door and left. By dawn, Kelvin's threat ripened. The clip resurfaced with fresh captions calling Adana demon queen of wicked rich girls. Sponsors hit smoke, even when the fire is moral. A small donor froze their check and the hub's account caught fever. Comments beat like ants. "Cancel forever. Foundation scam. If she changed, may she change her face too." And Adana felt the ground tilt under her feet. Whispered, "God, if this is exam, don't let me repeat class." And God answered the way he often does, by sending work. A woman burst in with a child limp from fever. "Help!" she cried. And you cannot nurse PR and emergency at the same time. So Adana grabbed keys and the boy. Ijema, code cloth, Mariam, ORS, Chike, called the clinic, drove Lagos like someone who fears only the right things. Bleach and bravery air the clinic. Nurses moved like good verbs. The child's eyes lifted like small curtains. And Adana's tears came from a place no camera had ever reached. When she returned, Chief stood in the hub's dim with the look fathers wear when pride mixes with worry. "The board thinks your face is risk," he said, offering a slim envelope. "Come and speak. Come and be seen." The word risk stung, but truth also stings. She ironed her once serious blouse like an argument, walked into a glass aquarium of men who think empathy is soft and soft things break. The youngest cleared his throat. "Miss Adana, why should you be the face of help when you once hurt an old woman?" And her old instinct, perform guilt, died. "Because I did harm," she said, voice honest and bare. "And harm taught me to value usefulness over applause. I don't want to be the face of help. I want to be the hands." The room shifted. A cough tried to become a clap and failed. A woman on the board, quiet hurricane, leaned in. What will you do when your next test wears fame like perfume? Wait, she said. If it lifts people, I'll take it. If it lifts only me, I'll drop it. And Mama, seated at the back, cracking groundnuts like a judge measuring mercy, smiled into her scarf. The vote wasn't perfect, humans aren't, but the foundation kept its spine. That night, Lagos wrote one more exam in small letters. A wet street under a faulty street light. Kelvin and his boys blocking the path. A phone thrust at her face. Apologize on live now. Cry well. Sign here. I delete everything. Refuse and I scatter more. His shaky hand grabbed her wrist. Wrong move, because the universe sometimes writes comedy into danger. A patrol van rolled up with the softness of a hammer. The officer recognized Adana from the clinic run. Nurses talk. Listened to Kelvin's song, checked pockets, found 2 contracts, 3 lies, a pocket knife, and a pride problem, and said, "We don't arrest apology, we arrest harassment." The boys deflated. The van closed. The street exhaled. Morning came with gold edges, and at the hub, Ichioma had painted tiny flowers along the wall that looked like promises. Children chanted the alphabet of hope. The generator purred like a fed cat. Inside, Mama was already there, because some doors remember who opens them for others. She set a carved wooden bowl on the table, heavy, polished by many palms, not plastic, not begging. "For your office," she said, "so you remember what hands are for." And Adana received it like sacrament. "We'll fill it and empty it and fill again," she promised. Chief arrived in white, clean as truth, placed a small parcel. Inside a nameplate, Adana Noaze, program lead, and a note in his neat hand. "You can be a headline or a hinge. Choose hinge." She laughed a tired, grateful laugh that released old smoke from her chest. The hub's first satellite opened in her former shop space. Bolt tightened where Ego used to sit. On the wall, she hung a frame in her own crooked handwriting. "What you send out returns wearing shoes," and it became rule and ritual. Orders trickled, then flowed. A bride's late catastrophe met calm competence. A boy threaded his first bobbin and screamed joy until the roof learned the chorus. One Sunday, she went home and learned soup can heal what sorry cannot. Her mother held her face, and both of them cried like rain deciding to be river. Weeks later, a reporter asked, "What changed you?" Adana didn't say internet, didn't say scandal, didn't say walk. She said, "A woman's bowl and a man's boot." And the clip went small viral, the good kind, bringing not clout, but people willing to carry corners of heavy things. That evening, Chief and Mama walked in as the sun performed his daily magic. Chief looked at the framed quote and at the humming room and at Adana, whose hands had grown useful. "So how far?" he asked, and she grinned without filters. "We're sending out good things," she said, "and we can hear the footsteps coming back." Mama chuckled. "Let them come with shoes." And in that lemon and fabric air, with needles singing and children laughing, and the carved bowl waiting to be filled again, she finally understood. The door at the mall opened because it was automatic, but the doors that matter opened because hands, humbled, busy, scarred, faithful, learn to open them for others. Please subscribe now for more moral story.